Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my week number 1 tight end rankings for fantasy football in 2021. Inside today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 24 ranked tight ends for week number 1 of the 2021 fantasy football season, as well as going in depth with discussing why I have them ranked at each and every single spot inside of my top 24. Now, before we get on into the video, I would like to ask if you are new to my YouTube channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 fantasy football championship. And while you're down there, whether you are new to my channel or not, please make sure that you hit that like button as well to help boost this video up the algorithm so that more beautiful people like yourself can see today's video. And before we get on into it, I would like to give you guys a quick word from my friends and my sponsor over at Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. With Thrive, you can eliminate the countless hours of research and focus only on the top-tier athletes that have the biggest impact on the game. Choose 10 out of the 20 available player props to build your lineup. Each prop is assigned a fantasy value for the over and the under based upon how likely it is that the prop is to hit. Hit the most props and rack up the most points to win a share of the prize pool. Thrive has over 140,000 guaranteed in prize for NFL Week 1 and has awarded over 4 million. Use promo code Notorious. Again, promo code Notorious when you sign up today, and you will receive a 100% instant first deposit match up to $100. And if you deposit $10 today, you will get one free Sunday $100,000 ticket. And if you deposit $20, you can get 2 free Sunday $100,000 tickets. So please make sure that you guys use promo code Notorious, or just click the link in the description to activate your offer today. And we are back, so without further ado, let's get into the video. We begin with my number 1 ranked tight end for week number 1. That is Travis Kelsey of the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Cleveland Browns. Now, I talked about this ideology in the quarterback rankings video, in the wide receiver ranks video, as well as the running back rankings video. And that is that there's a couple of players at every position that basically it doesn't matter who the fuck they're playing. It's basically that some players are just matchup proof. If Travis Kelsey was going up against the toughest defense in the NFL, you would still start him. You would still rank him inside the top 5 because his skill, the amount of fantasy points he could potentially score, outweighs whatever defense he's playing. Here he's going up against the Browns, so this isn't some type of impossible matchup. It is not an ideal matchup either, but it's not super hard. Travis Kelsey will be fine this week as the number 1 overall tight end. He is one of the tight ends of fantasy football that, in my opinion, just gives you an unreal positional advantage. Every single week, basically, you can pencil in Travis Kelsey to be a top 3 tight end unless there's an injury to him or to Patrick Mahomes, knock on wood. Obviously, we don't want injuries to happen. I believe Travis Kelsey will be the number 1 tight end this week, getting peppered with targets up against the Cleveland Browns, which I believe could be a relatively pass-heavy game between both of these teams. At number 2, we have George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers going up against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Now, all offseason long, I have voiced my concerns about George Kittle, and it's not that, hey, George Kittle's a bad player. It has nothing to do with that, because if you were going pound for pound, if you were trying to measure all of the skill set, all the athleticism of these tight ends in the NFL, you may say that George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL by all the measurables, all that stuff. And I would not disagree with you. But the situation he's in makes me nervous on the season-long standpoint. He's in San Francisco. They like to run the ball. Sure, they're going to throw the ball. George Kittle is Jimmy Garoppolo's favorite target, after all. But eventually, they're going to shift from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance, in my opinion. Now, there is still a way that, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo plays all season, because Jimmy Garoppolo is in the perfect situation to hold down a job for the long term, because he is on a really good team offensively with great weapons, with a really good defense. So he doesn't have to be a quarterback of the next level in order to lead this team on a playoff run and to potentially make it to the Super Bowl and potentially win the Super Bowl. But I believe eventually Trey Lance, there's a reason why they drafted him so highly. They're going to put him in. And in that scenario, then maybe they go to a more run-heavy offense, because then they are playing into the skill set that Trey Lance has. So on the season-long standpoint, I'm a little bit cautious about George Kittle. But here up against the Detroit Lions, it doesn't get much easier than this for a tight end to have a lot of success here up against the Lions. At number 3, we have Darren Waller of the Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Baltimore Ravens in Las Vegas. Now, this matchup isn't great. This is a matchup where the Ravens are going to look to trip down the clock. They're going to try to run the ball a lot, and then the Raiders late in the game are going to be firing at all cylinders, just heaving the rock. Darren Waller, in my opinion, best receiver on this team, best receiving weapon on this team. Not a receiver, obviously. He plays tight end, but he is going to be peppered with targets here. The tough matchup is beaten out by the fact that Darren Waller is just so good. At number 4, we have Mr. Maki Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. Same exact game, going up against the Las Vegas Raiders here in Las Vegas. Mark Andrews, a lot like Darren Waller, in my opinion. Now, Darren Waller, to me, is by far and away the best target on Las Vegas. Mark Andrews may not be by far and away the best target, but I think he's the most reliable target for Lamar Jackson here up against the Las Vegas Raiders. There's a solid chance that he finds the end zone in this game and should easily be able to finish as a top 5 tight end on the week. Closing out the top 5 is TJ Hawkinson of the Detroit Lions going up against the 49ers. I talked about how I believe the San Francisco 49ers are going to lay a fucking absolute smackdown, going to hit him with the 619 Rey Mysterio. They stand no chance. But later in the game, the more you get down, the more you have to throw the ball. Just like with Waller, definitely, Hawkinson's the best target on Detroit. Sure, they have these other weapons. Maybe one of them will become elite fantasy options. Maybe not elite fantasy options, but a reliable fantasy option because they're down in these games. They have to throw the ball late in the game. But who knows who that is? What I do know is that TJ Hawkinson should be peppered heavily with targets here up against the Niners, so I like him at number 5. At number 6, we have Kyle Pitts, tight end of the Atlanta Falcons, going up against the Eagles. Kyle Pitts, I have also, just like with Kettle, shared my reasoning throughout the offseason as to why I think maybe Kyle Pitts is being overhyped and maybe you need to pump your brakes on year 1 because for rookie tight ends in the last decade, over the last 10 years, one tight end named Evan Ingram in his rookie season has finished inside the top 5 of fantasy football at the tight end position. Now you might say, Nick, that's fine. Kyle Pitts is better than Evan Ingram. Kyle Pitts is the best rookie tight end to ever come out, at least in recent memory. Go ahead and say that. He could finish as a top 5 tight end. I'm not telling you that he can't, but the numbers are pointing against it. This matchup up against the Eagles is too good. It's too great. It's too easy. This is going to be a great matchup for Kyle Pitts. I believe he's going to be heavily involved here up against the Eagles in a back-and-forth game in Atlanta. At number 7, we have Logan Thomas of the Washington football team going up against the LA Chargers. Now, they did put Curtis Samuel on the IR, who I didn't think was really that fantasy relevant, but he was the number 2 guy there, clearly, in Washington. So now that he's gone, Logan Thomas is going to get an even bigger role, in my opinion, in this offense, which will lead to more fantasy success. This is a tough matchup. I will agree, up against the Chargers defense, but I think with how involved he is going to be, he will be able to, based upon high volume, be able to beat out the tougher matchup. At number 8, we have Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Atlanta Falcons. I talked about it with Pitts. I think there's going to be a tit-for-tat, a back-and-forth matchup between these two teams. Now, with Goedert, Zach Ertz is still there. We all thought, basically everyone thought, everyone's assumption was that Zach Ertz was gone. I don't know if you guys watched the last game of the year for the Eagles. It was a terrible game where they basically threw in the towel against the Giants, against the Washington football team. I don't remember who they played. I think it was the Washington football team. Maybe it was Dallas. I don't remember off the top of my head. All I remember was the Giants fans were pissed because the Eagles threw the game, whatever it was. I'm sorry for not having clear memory on a game that didn't matter at all. For someone who's a fan of the Dolphins, I didn't give a fuck about that game. It was week 17. No fantasy relevance in week 17 because I don't play in week 17. This year I do for fantasy because there's 18 weeks, but I digress. What I'm saying here is that Zach Ertz was on the field with Carson Wentz. They're like consoling with each other. They're talking about how it looks like it's over in Philly for us. It looks like we're going on to greener pastures. It's time to go somewhere. Carson Wentz goes to Indy. Everyone's thinking, oh, the Colts, they're going to get on the phone. They're going to dial up. They're going to say, hey, Eagles, we would like Zach Ertz to come here with Carson Wentz. We don't have a true number 1 tight end here. I think that this will be a great partnership. Then, you know what? Boom, they send him there. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And Dallas Goedert is kind of strangleholded, cucked in a way, by Ertz. Now, Ertz won't be as relevant because Goedert is the better tight end at this point, but that does suck for Goedert. Obviously, his upside is limited by that. At number 9, we have Robert Tunyan of the Green Bay Packers going up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, Robert Tunyan scored so many touchdowns last year. That's why he was so good in fantasy football. If there is a decrease in the touchdowns, then it's not going to be great for Tunyan. But how can you project a decrease in touchdowns if the team is still so good? Or maybe he just gets more targets, and that kind of alleviates the fact that he doesn't need to score as many touchdowns. But here against New Orleans in a high-scoring game, it's likely that Tunyan scores, so I got him here at number 9. At number 10, we have Noah Fant of the Broncos going up against the Giants in New York. The Giants defense is down tremendous when trying to guard a tight end. They cannot cover a tight end. This is an amazing matchup for Noah Fant here up against the Giants defense, even if I don't love Mr. Teddy Two Gloves. Now onto tight ends number 11 through 20. So if you guys have ended up enjoying this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as that like button down below. Next up, we have tight ends number 11 through 20. At number 11, we have Tyler Higby of the LA Rams going up against the Chi-Town Bears. This isn't the greatest matchup, but I talked about this in the quarterback rankings video from earlier today. Make sure you check that out. I do believe that they have a good enough quarterback here in Stafford to beat out this defense, so I think Tyler Higby is a decent play this week. I should have mentioned this off the rip again, but Gronk, Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, all those guys, not in my rankings because they already played. So at number 12, we have Mike Licky-Amagasicki of the Miami Dolphins going up against the New England Deflatriots in New England. As a Dolphins fan, I'm a decent fan of, I like Gesicki, obviously. He's my tight end, so I'm going to like him. This matchup, though, tough. Very tough. Up against the Patriots, this is going to be a lower scoring game. I think the key to success for my Dolphins to win this game is by running the ball with Malcolm Brown, with Myles Gaskin, and with Salvon Ahmed. I think you pound the rock down the throat, you tire them out, and then you keep pounding the rock as the game goes on, and eventually you whittle away enough to be able to win the game. Gesicki, though, without Will Fuller here, I think will be really involved in this game with Tua, so I think Mike Gesicki will be fine, but do temper your expectations this week. This is not a great matchup for the Dolphins. It's an okay matchup, though, for Gesicki. At number 13, we have Austin Hoopa of the Cleveland Browns going up against the Chiefs in Kansas City. Last year, everyone was on the Hooper train, except for me. I kind of talked about how, hey, the Browns like to run the ball. Why are we drafting Austin Hooper? It's his first year there, blah, blah, blah. No one listens. They draft him. It is what it is. But now, against the Chiefs, this is a game where you're not going to be able to just run the ball a million times because, hey, the Chiefs in 4 seconds could go from 0 to 100, from the 20-yard line, the 25-yard line, to the fucking end zone. In 1 play, in 2 plays, in 3 plays, it goes that quick. Premature ejaculation. Austin Hooper here is in for a good matchup, though, because they're going to throw the ball more. So that gives Austin Hooper a good chance to score. Tight end, number 13. Number 14, we have Gerald Everett of the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Just like with a couple of these players, I've voiced my concerns about Russell Wilson this year because I believe that Pete Carroll, he's not lying. He goes up to the media, pretend this is a microphone. He goes, hey, I think we're going to want to run the ball more this year. And then people, they close their ears. They don't listen. They're not hearing it. Why not hearing it? The coach is telling us, hey, we're going to run the ball more. Will they run the ball more? That's the question. Will it actually happen? I don't know. But if it does, then Russ might not be as good this year. But Everett is the clear number 1 tight end here in Seattle. Russell Wilson has shown a liking to throwing to a tight end. He just hasn't had a good tight end in a while. Here he does now with Gerald Everett, tight end number 14 to 15. We got Jonnu Smith of the New England Patriots going up against the Dolphins. 16, Hunter Henry going up against the Dolphins. Now, in my start-sit tight end video, I told you guys to sit both Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Why? My guess is that Jonnu Smith is the better tight end for fantasy football. But who knows what's going to happen here? Because I know people talk about, remember Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Obviously, fuck you, Aaron Hernandez, you scumbag. But, you know, you remember that with Brady, Gronk, Aaron Hernandez. Look at this fucking great duo. Every week for fantasy, they were great. I remember they were great. I was very young. I used to play fantasy football back then, and I loved it. It was great, both of those guys. But now where we're sitting, who knows who the better option is, right? Who knows? Could it be Smith? Could it be Henry? Or could they both be mutually good at the exact same time? That's also possible, just like it was with Gronk and Hernandez. So right now, week 1, I would tell you to sit them because I don't know what's going to happen. And my guess, again, is Jonnu Smith will be better, but I'm not going to bet my fucking week on the fact that Jonnu Smith's going to be better than Henry or that Henry's going to be better than Smith. So again, I would start Smith over Henry, but I want to see it happen week 1. I want to see a couple of games, and then I'll really be able to come on here and assert to you guys who I think is going to be better, and you'll be able to tell as well which tight end is the better option week in, week out. Next up, we got Anthony Fercer of the Tennessee Titans going up against the Arizona Cardinals. I love this matchup. Fercer. Now, they bring in Julio Jones at basically everyone. They turn and they run away. Hussein Bolt right out the door. They're saying, you know what? I don't want anything to do with Fercer, even though I was talking him up for like the last couple of months. Because you know what? Julio is going to take away a lot of the targets that could have went to Fercer. Okay, that's true. But Julio Jones is allergic to scoring touchdowns. He can't score a touchdown. He sees the end zone, he fucking shits his pants. He doesn't score touchdowns. You want to know who does, though? Anthony Fercer. So he's a solid stream option every single week. The upside, you need a touchdown, but if he scores that touchdown, he'll be fine. Number 18, we got Conklin, Tyler Conklin of the Minnesota Vikings going up against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. This is a great matchup. If this was Irv Smith, he would have been a top 6 tight end this week, a top 5 tight end potentially, but it's not. It's Tyler Conklin. They bring in Chris Herndon. Who knows who's going to be the starter there? Who knows how much Herndon can play because it's the first week there. He hasn't been there for a while. I digress. It's a great matchup, but I don't trust Conklin. Number 19, we got Jared Cook, the Cookinata of the LA Chargers. The Cookinata going up against the Washington football team. Terrible matchup. Good tight end. Don't love the game. I like Cook on the season-long standpoint here. Not really. Not really here up against the football team. At number 20, we have the backup tight end of the Eagles, but I think they're gonna use a lot of 2 tight end set, double tight end, dose tight ends on the field. So Ertz will be involved here against Atlanta. If there was ever a time to start Zach Ertz, it would be this week up against the Atlanta Falcons. Final tight ends 21 through 24. At number 21, we got Cole Comet of the Chi-Town Bears going up against the LA Rams. Now the thing about Cole Komet is he's a good tight end. It's a bad matchup. They still have Jimmy Graham. Which worries me. Again, like, we're going to just have to wait for Jimmy Graham to be gone for me to really be able to get on the Cole Komet train here. So, that's my thoughts on him. 22, we got Mr. Double E, Eric Ibron of the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I like Eric Ibron, but how involved will Pat Firemouth be in this offense? If Firemouth is involved heavily, Ibron won't be good for fantasy. If he's not involved as much, Ibron will be solid for fantasy. So we're going to feel it out this game, sit him down this game, unless obviously you're in a really deep league. Otherwise, Ibron should not really be on your radar. 23, we got Hayden Hurst, tight end of the Falcons, going up against the Eagles. Backup tight end behind Pitts, but again, with this matchup being so good, maybe the second tight end gets in the end zone. So I liked Hurst a lot last year. He didn't pay off, but he didn't fail, right? He didn't fail me. He just wasn't as good as I thought he would be. And at number 24, we got Dawson Knox one time, if you are with me, of the Buffalo Bills going up against the Steelers. This guy, he needs a touchdown. He needs a touchdown. This guy is not involved at all in this offense. But if he's in the end zone, if he's open, then guess what? Josh Allen's going to throw it to him. And this is a matchup with a lot of points, so there is a chance that he could score in this game. So thank you guys all so much for watching. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out this content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 Fantasy Football Championship. I will see all of you guys, hopefully, on Sunday. We'll be live at 10:45. Sorry for the chair cracking. 10:45 a.m. live Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel. And then at 12 Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to take you guys and direct you to the Awesemo Fantasy Football YouTube channel. My videos are on there. I will be live streaming from 12 until 1 on there. We will have a great fucking time. I love you guys so much. We are almost at 17,000 subscribers. 17,000 subscribers. Imagine 17,000 people in a room with you. That's crazy. I love you guys. Without you guys, we don't have 17,000 subscribers. Without you guys, I'm just some asshole talking to the webcam. I still am that. But I'd be an asshole talking to no one. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much. Make sure you have a great rest of your guys' day. I can't wait to see you guys on Sunday. Have a great day. Make sure that you stay safe. Have fun watching college football if you like college football. I love you guys, as always. Goodbye.